Welcome to the Post-Purchase Pro podcast.
This is the only podcast that dives deep into post-purchase marketing to help Amazon sellers increase sales, ranking, reviews, and profits. It's everything that happens after the initial sale that makes a difference. We call this the back end.
Sean, we're back again. Nice clicking, my master of ceremony, right? So,
buddy, MC. I can't spell it, but I know what it is.
So today, Sean, we have an awesome guest, but we have an even better name of the company that he founded. So I'm super excited to dig in here, Sean.
Sounds pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, William Kouns, founder of Awsimco. I love the name, William. Thanks for coming on to the Post-Purchase podcast.
Sean, Seth, it's an honor and a pleasure, and I'm just humbled to be a part of this community of helping to not only motivate but educate others in all this industry here of e-commerce.
Well, welcome to the program, William. I know you have an amazing message for folks. William runs this awesome company called Awsimco, which is not your average seller agency, right? And we're going to get into the details with you, but I like the backstory, William. We were talking in the green room before we started the live broadcast, and you were telling us why you started this company. So before we jump into the backstory, tell folks who you are, where you're from, why you and I share the same redneck accent, and what we can expect from today's interview.
Yeah, so my name is William Kouns. I'm the managing director at Awsimco. I was born in Ashland, Kentucky, raised across the river in a little town of 5,000 people called Coal Grove, Ohio, which is near Ironton. And what I learned at a very young age is the art of speaking three different types of accents. That'd be from West Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio, all at the same time. Went to college in Central Kentucky for a few years, and I was a football player in college, and transferred out and went up to a smaller school in West Virginia. Played under Rich Rodriguez. You probably know his name in the coaching world, and then moved back to Central Kentucky. Been there ever since. And then, so basically, in a nutshell, if any other new college graduate, right, I was the first male in my family to go to college. They're all blue collar workers, steel workers. My father was a riverboat captain. My mother was a stay-at-home mother. That both of my heroes of today. And so basically, they taught me the value of work. And if you want something in life, you got to go get it.
That makes a lot of sense. So let me start with the first question here. And this is the interesting part that we were just talking about before we went live. Tell me about the history, how and why you created your company. You started going on your soapbox before we started. I'm like, save that, because this story is amazing. I know that our viewers out there, we have Amazon sellers tuning in from all over the world. And those of you that are listening to the audio broadcast, you can check the notes. But William, why? Why did you start Awsimco, and what were you doing at that point?
It was part necessity, part desperation, and part aspiration, towards working towards a worthy goal, right? So for about 20 years, I worked in the healthcare sales market, from pharmaceuticals to surgical devices. I actually worked in surgery in 9 different surgical specialties. And so I worked my way up from being a sales rep covering your all's area there in Indiana and Kentucky. And then next thing I know, I was asked to help found a new division of a laparoscopic, minimally invasive type division, becoming the sales director for the Eastern U.S. So all I was catching was planes and trains and automobiles, and then became massively successful. You know how it is with someone gives you an opportunity. You're just praying for an opportunity in life, and the door cracks open. I was a guy that would literally kick the door down because I was just, trying to build myself up in life for that opportunity, that one moment in life, right, to shine. And so became massively successful as a sales director in a short time. And then October 31st of 2021, after the week before being told everything's fine, COVID, we got you, your whole team safe, to get the pink slip.
Now.
And then so you literally worked your whole entire life to work for someone else, but it's a dream job. I loved what I did. I loved coaching and training and just excelling and really helping others, right? And so here I found myself in a very short time, jobless in the midst of COVID. And you're like, what in the world? How do I adapt and overcome, right? And so I said, well, what is I'm gifted with? Well, I have transferable skills, executive level leadership. All right. I have an MBA in international business. I was like, but that just gives you potential, right? I learned a lot. You got to apply it. And then I was inducted in a Hall of Fame in this company. I was like, wow, okay, that's a transferable skill. I can sell, I can market, right? So what do? So I said, okay, let's try to go interview for other sales director jobs during the height of COVID. Come on, Sean and Seth, right? What's going on there? There was no access to hospitals for a lot of people, for salespeople. So I had to adapt and overcome. I said, I'm 45 years old at the time, 2 years ago. What other time in the world am I ever going to get to maybe start my own business?
Gosh, you make 47 look much better than I do. Look at all this gray hair, man.
Well, I tell you, there's a lot of wisdom on the side there. Wait till you see me get my haircut. It's that experience, right? From failures doesn't mean I'm a failure, though, right? You got to fail a lot in life. So
what I love about the story so far is that just because this is what you were doing pre-COVID, during COVID, doesn't necessarily mean that's what you stick to. And a lot of us, if the only tool that we have is a hammer, William, everything starts looking like a nail, right? So the fact that you were able to innovate and pivot is just exciting. So go ahead.
Well, if you ask anyone, I have friends of mine that serve in the military, right? A lot of special operators. They said the main thing about surviving and when you're looking down range is pivot and move, right? So I took that that mindset. I said, well, I got to pivot. So it's either I was going to buy a company, I was either going to get in with find a company that believed in me, right? And then also, or go work for the man again or whatever. It's either buy one or assume one. So I came across some training online. I said, well, wait a minute. I love to travel. I love to meet people, but I want to be mobile. Because I was used to work from a laptop, from a plane or something like that. I said, well, what is it I can do that can maybe, really help me set up? Because I love to travel so much, right? I was like, what about e-commerce? Oh, what's this Amazon thing? And then I came across some training on Amazon. I said, well, that's interesting. I understand what P&Ls are. I understand what a balance sheet is. I understand what it is to buy and sell products. Because I was a kid that made these little switchblades as a kid, right? Like out of popsicle sticks and a clothes hanger, right?
With a rubber band?
Yeah, with the rubber band. I saw it in the carnival. I was that kid that, that got the call from mom and dad, from the principal going, hey, your son's taking kids' lunch money. I was like, I didn't take anything. They gave me the money off something they wanted, right? And so that was the hook. I was like, well, why can't I just buy and sell products on e-commerce? And so I took some training, and it was a phenomenal training. I don't know if I should, I could plug it.
You could plug it. We actually just reached out to Dylan over here on another screen and invited him as a special guest, but he said, I would, guys, but I'm on vacation. So go ahead.
Yeah. So it's called the Wholesale Formula. I was on YouTube, and I was really kind of looking at some podcasts, and I was finding the Nomad Capitalist or the Wholesale Formula. So, well, who are these guys? 2 guys from Kentucky. It's like, wait a minute, there's a common brand. I'm from Kentucky. Wait a minute, they're from Corbin. I'm an hour and a half from Corbin. This is wild. And they were talking about how they generated $22 million, and Amazon's like, okay, you have my attention, right? Immediately. That was that authority establishment. And so I signed up for the training. It was free for 3 days. And I saw the value stack that they had from the very beginning. Me working for multi-billion-dollar corporations is like, well, that's interesting. Lead with value. That's amazing. Okay, I like this because I'm judging them on their sales capability, right?
Of course.
And their throughput. No offense. I mean, that's just me. I'm a pragmatist. I'm like, well, what's the catch? What's the hook? Something's going to happen. And to me, when it come time to sign up for it, it was a no-brainer because there was so much value, and I could start to see a vision, start to develop a vision. It's like, what if I could be mobile? Well, wait a minute. This could be the caveat, the avenue to get me where I want to go. And can I use my transferable skills? Can I create strategic alliances, right? To where the people helping others. And I found nothing but people that are open book, right? Or open doors, even if they're a competitor, people just trying to help people. And to me, it's just been an amazing journey since March of 2021.
Well, what we're going to do, Seth's going to jump into to picking your brain about how you do help other people. But before we do, stand by for this. Hey there, it's Sean Hart. If you found the information on the Post-Purchase Podcast useful and impactful for your business, do us a favor and your colleagues a favor. Share this, like us, and let others know how to find us on your social channels. We'd sure appreciate you. Now let's get back to the show. Thank you. So, Seth, I know you have a cool question here to ask
Yeah.
William. I think this interview is going to go way over because we have so much cool stuff to talk about. But go ahead, Seth.
So, William, you jumped into the e-commerce world and you started helping Amazon sellers and other sellers online. So, what are you seeing as the toughest barrier for sellers to overcome today?
I believe people get in the way of themselves. It's that ego check, right? In other words, they feel like because it's e-commerce, it's set it and forget it, and it's really not. It's work. Everyone says that Amazon is passive income is a liar. No offense. I'm just going to call a spade, whatever it is. It's like, okay, Amazon is a true ecosystem that basically you got to go earn it, and especially learning inside and outside traffic, SEO, and listing optimization. So I think people just got to learn to get over themselves in order to get on with themselves. And that's what I had to do, because I had to work my way through the fog of disappointment of having the best career, established. And just, I loved what I did, but I had to find myself pivot and moving. So I was working my way through the fog, and people can too. They just got to have that mindset that they too can adapt and overcome.
Okay, fair enough. I love it. So, moving on in that particular direction, William, tell me, what's the biggest mistake that you see other sellers making that could easily be avoided?
Trying to grow too fast, too quick, not having your systems and structure in place, whether it be the legal structure or not having your team set. For example, you definitely need to have an attorney, a CPA, bookkeepers, or some mentors in place, because you are going to run into roadblocks along the way, and you're going to need trusted counsel to help guide you to your next step. That to me is like, a lot of people say, hey, let's just go ahead and get 1,000 SKUs and things like that. Okay, what structure and systems do you have to support that? How are you setting yourself apart? Because if you have 17 people on a listing, maybe 1 or 2 people are actually contributing to that listing for the optimization or SEO, whereas the others are just basically hanging on the coattail and hoping that the Amazon algorithm is going to come around them and get them a sale, right? There's no value. And that's how we've been able to pick up clients, is because it's value after the purchase, before and after, right, that we provide.
I love it.
You should too.
So, in the same vein, then, William, you were talking about that's how you've been able to get clients, but what makes Awsimco different than other agencies out there? So, like, you founded it for a reason, and it wasn't to just be a copycat and say, me too. It was because I see something here that, an opportunity that I can step into. So, what makes Awsimco different?
Yeah, it's the transparency. It's the trust and transparency. Like, for example, on our website, we have our founding values, 7 founding values on there. But the main key thing is the executive leadership background of working for multi-billion-dollar corporations. I find that a lot of sellers maybe they're just getting started out. They may not have that rich background, right? They may not have the background of developing training programs or the systems and structures to really help businesses or divisions develop, grow, and scale. And that's what, to me, when I look at that, I say, okay, not only can we do this, but it's the transparency of reporting. I found from literally speaking to thousands of brand owners across the United States, is they say the one thing that they get is that once people get the seller, they're on part of their approved wholesalers, they never hear from them again.
Wow.
So there's 5 keys that I coach. I've written about it, spoken about it nationally. It's show up, shine, ask questions, shut up, and follow up. Well,
show up, shine, ask questions, shut up, and follow up.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah,
we're going to make a banner for that.
if you just do the first 1 and 2, you're probably going to have some sort of mediocre success. You show up and you follow up, right? Showing up is the physical, mental, and spiritual type deal. It's that preparation, that pre-call planning is what we call it, right? I mean, I could totally go through the whole the whole presentation, but what I'm sharing with you is how we separate is we bring all 5 of those together. And we recently discovered, some follow-up marketing opportunities that we can help brands. It's something I've been seeking for selfishly, to be able to round out and fill those gaps for brands that we represent on e-commerce. So
good. Well, maybe we'll go into that in more detail in a future interview. But today is all about you and Awsimco. So tell me, if you can, you don't have to mention any specific brands or names, but can you talk about a case study or a recent win that you've seen in Awsimco?
Absolutely. So last year, let's just say last January, we were a wholesaler for a brand of a product. It was maybe kind of going against the grain. In my analysis, it was selling about 4 to 6 units a day. And you're like, well, how does that add up? It's kind of below the threshold that I was taught. And I said, but I believe this product is undervalued from our analysis. Going back from my transferable skills, I said, well, look at these brands. These are premium based or premium manufactured products, but they're being sold at a floor price. Because you have three different types of products. You have floor grade, intermediate grade, and premium grade, right? And you got to find which one you are as a product. Well, if you're a premium grade and your COGS are pretty high, but you're asking to sell it at a low price, that's not well. So as a wholesaler, I talked to the brand owner to allow us to increase I created the map pricing for them, which did not exist in their seller's agreement, cleaned it up, and then went from 4 units. We optimized the listing, did SEO, and next thing you know, we're selling nearly 3,000 units a month.
Wow. 3,000 units per month. That is a recent win.
From
I love that.
Yeah, from 4 a day to almost 3,000. And how we were able to do it is leveraging social media, right? Because we do social media management. But we went, we were blessed to go viral about 3 times this year. But what I said was, even to all the brands, I said, your new baseline of sales is changed forever, it seems like. So that daily sales from 4 is now around 60 a day when you look at it, right? And then so when you look at that, say, well, that's because the value of understanding that Amazon, Walmart, and Google, they're kind of married together, and the power of indexing and making sure that that brand awareness is there, right? And so that is a true. I mean, I could show you the graph right now if I had to. I have it popped up.
You have it popped up right now, huh?
Absolutely, man. So I just want to speak from the actual numbers, right?
Do you see on the bottom of your screen? Do you see a thing that says present?
If you'd like me to, I will. Absolutely.
Hit present. Let's see how it works. And we have some. If you guys, those of you watching the live stream, if you have any questions at all for William about what he's doing with Awsimco, just go ahead and type that in the comments under this stream on Facebook or YouTube, and they'll pop up live here, and we'll ask William a question. So, do you have that capacity?
I have one of those big screens, Sean and Seth. So do I share
a giant banana-shaped screen?
You betcha, man.
Man, you're a super geek.
Hey, man, it's all about convenience, right? So here we go. This is actual. This is actual. The actual graph. Okay. As you can see, the sales are relatively low here. It's around 4 to 7 units a day. This is directly from Helium 10. You guys are familiar with that. When I look at this is before when we were a new wholesaler, right? So as you can see, without optimization, SEO optimization and listing optimization, it was kind of around the mill. And then we started taking over as the brand manager. And then all of a sudden, look at this. You have these blips. And then boom, it's over 800% increase year over year. Okay. And then went from 7 to 60 units a day on average. And you see these blips right here is because we were leveraging social media. Right. Wow. And building those alliances. And then you have that. So look at that small base here on the left. Can you see my cursor here on the left? 1221. And then you see boom, rises. Well, you're right about never run out of stock, because we didn't see this coming, right? And then but we prepared for rain, but when it came, there was a flood.
So, William, for those who are listening on the podcast and don't have the benefit of the live stream video, explain what we're looking at here.
So what we're looking at is a product that at first at Awsimco became a wholesaler, right? And we saw the value. This product was undervalued in the market because it was a premium based product. It was a premium manufactured product, but it was being sold at a floor price, right? So we increased the pricing. We were able to take this product from 7 units sales a day on average to 60, which really transformed the brand as a whole. And then what you see this graph right here is the explosive growth in sales from right around here. This is funny. See this little blip right here? This is the first results from listing optimization right here that we finalized for them. This little peak right here. And then you see the large peak. That's from leveraging social media and advertising, PPC advertising. And all of a sudden that baseline of sales changed from 7 units a day to around 60 units a day.
Wow. That's ridiculous. Seth.
Yes. So William, yeah, I know you just talked about a recent case study, which is amazing. 7 to 3,000 units a month is incredible. So who is that perfect client for you? What do they look like? What are they doing? Who can you help the most?
Well, it takes a client that is it someone that can look in the mirror and say, the problem is within me, and also the solution starts with me. And the type of client that can listen. I've spoke to thousands of brand owners. And unfortunately, for example, if you have crappy imagery or crappy titles, sorry for the words there, but and there's no value, right? But they think that they are truly in love with their product, but they don't want to listen to people that are actually in the industry to provide them value, which is what we do. We do what you call business insights analysis. We provide it to them along the sales continuum, right? And we're trying to coach them, say, well, if you don't never speak to me ever again, you can at least take these top 1 or 2 things to really help your brand. And it takes a customer to listen, be able to listen and to act, right? Now, trust is built. It's the hardest thing to gain, but it's also the easiest thing to lose. The type of thing is the partnership between us as an agency and them as a brand owner that has to mesh. You know,
Right.
what is it? A personalities? Do they fit? Well, I'm trained on, the disc profiles. I used to do that training, right? And things. It's like you have to be a chameleon, but what can you get to them to listen? If they're not willing to listen and to act, then they're not the right fit, right? So what we want to do is we want to go deep with brands. A lot of people want to go broad. What I mean by deep is, hey, let's start with Amazon, but what about Walmart? What about eBay? If I can give you another case study real quick, is that a brand that we worked with didn't realize that there's a major counterfeiting problem. He had the trademarks, the registered trademarks, everything, the patents, but they weren't acting upon it. So in one day, we shut down over 260 counterfeit listings on Amazon because we're willing to go deep with them to help them. Whereas another wholesaler they had at the time said, well, let's just focus on revenue generating activity. I said, no. You have a patent and trademark. You got to first learn to protect your brand so you can grow it.
Yep.
And then that case study proved to him that he lost over $1.5 million over the course of 5 years just from focusing on selling versus protecting.
Wow. I love that. So bear with me if you will. I'm going to ask another question here in just a moment that you're going to like. This is going to be a couple of surprise questions that we always like to end the interview with. This has been an awesome interview so far. But in the meantime, I need to hear from our sponsors, so stand by. As you know, Seth and I don't sell anything on the show at the Post-Purchase Podcast. So why don't you do us a favor right now? If you'll just go to your favorite podcast platform and just like us and review us, write us a review, give us a star rating. We'd sure appreciate it, and it will help other entrepreneurs like you easily find our show. Thank you. Okay, so William, in the entrepreneurial world, we're always looking for more tactics. We want to see insights from other entrepreneurs and find out not so much your background, but what you've picked up along the way to help grow your business. So your first surprise question that we always ask, and the viewers are always aware of this, what is your all-time favorite business book, William? Which one would you recommend to our audience?
The Bible, Book of Proverbs.
Love it.
I think the other one is Think and Grow Rich.
That's good enough. I love the Book of Proverbs. Solomon was a wise man. I just studied that for the umpteenth time recently, and I think there's a lot to be said there. And in fact, Seth and I actually have a book called Business Lessons from the Bible. Not sure if you've heard of that one yet, but that's another one I would recommend. But so all-time best-selling book in every language possible, the Bible and the Book of Proverbs. So I love that. Seth, I know you have another question ready for him.
I do. So William, sometimes we'll spend money on things that we think are going to be awesome, but they're not. And sometimes we spend some money and we're like, wow, that was definitely worth it. Those situations are a little bit more rare, it seems like. So what's something that you spent a little money on that was a splurge, but you don't regret spending the money?
Helium 10, platinum to be able to have,
You're
you
such
know,
a big spender.
well, I mean, when you're young, the worst thing you could do is go chase the next shiny thing, right? So
Exactly.
I'm one of these pragmatist type thinkers going, well, hang on a second. This sounds great, but let's go do the research. Let's see what other people are saying. What are they using, right? And then, of course, post-purchase pro. Why wouldn't you want to splurge and use post-purchase pro? So
I love that. Yep, a huge fan already. You've had some pretty outstanding results, but we don't want to take the spotlight off of Awsimco. So
Yeah,
if there's
yeah.
one thing that you would like listeners to leave with today, feel free to share your social channels. But if there's one idea or one thing that you would like for our viewers to leave with today, what would that be, William?
Ask, seek, and knock. No matter whatever your belief system is keep looking, keep searching, never give up. It's the thing is that you do have a story worth telling, and the world needs to hear your story, no matter where you come from. No, it doesn't matter about your educational system. Like, college teaches you to work for someone. I hate to say it's true. I mean, I have 2 advanced degrees to prove that, right? But the main thing is seek out to others and experts like yourself, Sean and Seth, or Dan and Dylan at the Wholesale Formula or something like that. I'm eternally grateful for those folks. Is that you got to get coaches. Surround yourself with successful people, even more successful than you. And it's interesting. The tide rises with the tide helps those ships rise and fall to each other, right? But when you strategically align yourself with others that's currently doing what you aspire to do, then it's going to bleed into you, right? So you got to just take action and believe in yourself.
Take action and don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help, huh?
Yeah.
All right, Seth, you want to take us out of here, buddy?
Absolutely. So, William, as we're getting out of here, where should people go find out more about you and what you have going on at Awsimco?
So our website, you got awsimco.com. It's www.awsimco.com. That is basically a little bit about our website. We do have some social channels that we're investing in. There's a lot of videos. You know how it is that we're editing. We're trying to get in that social game and to increase that brand awareness. But you could also reach out to me at william@awsimco.com. Whether you're someone that needs some additional like mentoring, coaching, or something like that, or if you're kind of just stuck where you are. If you're tired of being where you are today, maybe I can be that motivational and educational avenue for you to help you get to the next level.
I love it, William. Solid advice for our listeners out there. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come share with our community. We really appreciate it. And I know this interview is going to be very well received. Reach out to William if you have questions about your business. I'm sure William's willing to help, or
Sure.
engage with Awsimco, awsimco.com with an I, AWSIMCO.com. William, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere, man.